First of all, the Chula Vista is a city of procrastinations. We have too many committees, we have too many boards. We can't get the decision makers to make the decisions while waiting for subcommittees to give them feedback. We have a group of individuals, because of ordinance and whatever, that prohibit some of the simplest tasks to be accomplished in this city. Now, what will you do as the mayor to attempt to streamline, to ensure that we are able to get these projects that are important to this community implemented without 5 committees and 17 to 120 hours of discussion?
I couldn't agree with you more. In my studies, you know, when you run for an office, you have to spend a lot of time getting familiar with the issues, especially if you're the outsider. And it is a monumental task to go through all the different committees, as you say, and figure out, you know, what they focus on, what other committee they're associated with, you know, who makes the final decision. And talk about, you know, hanging up a sign going fishing on Fridays. What about having the city hall, the meetings for the residents of this town at a time when they can come? They have them on a Tuesday at 4 o'clock is ridiculous. They ought to be when people are off of work. So yes, as a mayor, I absolutely need to sit down and we need to streamline this process. There's just too many things that get in the way of getting things done, as evidenced by what has got done, which is not much. So yes, I agree with you 100%. There's a lot of work to be done. I hope to get together with the residents of this town and talk about how we can streamline most of these processes so that we can all go to the table and get these issues dealt with in a timely fashion. I was just going to say something else, but I'm not going to be like my opponent and take another extra minute.
Just 20 seconds.
You know, it's kind of interesting when the economy's down, everybody wants to get rid of the review and everything. When the economy's overheated, everybody wants more review and more citizen groups involved and so forth. You know, we kind of go back and forth. But I understand the need to basically do things a little easier and cut costs and increase certainty for people that want to come and spend money in our community. The fact is that I think there are a number of things we can do in terms of reducing the amount of hearings that businesses or investors or builders have to go through to build something. But I'm not going to relegate the role and the duty and I think the responsibility of neighborhoods to look at certain things in their community. I think that community involvement, I think, is what makes this country probably better. I mean, it's one of the best things we've got. We have an ability to basically say if we don't like something in a neighborhood. We have an ability to speak up and try to improve developments. We have an ability to oppose things that we feel are bad for our neighborhood. And I'm not going to basically disregard that. I'm not going to discard it based on the fact that we need to be a little bit more streamlined. But there are clearly things that we can do to make it easier and less time consuming for people to get their buildings going, get their businesses open. And I think we need to start with city staff that is going to have more resources to turn those plans around, to get those buildings signed off so that people can open for business.
I have one over here.
I don't think Cheryl.
Oh.
All right, Ted.
Because a week from Tuesday, the Chula Vista City Council is going to hear a proposal from the Planning Department to streamline the Planning Department. But every time you go for streamlining, you run the risk of losing some community input. Some of the rules that create this delay are not city rules, they're state rules. The Environmental Quality Act, for example, is a 30-year delay. If you're going to advertise for a public hearing, you have to have a 6-week proposal of timeline. So those timelines get built in and they do stretch out the timeline. The Design Review Committee is made up of residents such as yourself, the Resource Conservation Commission that hears lots of new plans. They're made up of citizen groups, and yes, they're led by city staff, but they're citizen groups who have very good ideas many times in order to make projects better. The plan to streamline that will be before the city council now in just over a week is going to look at taking a proposal from a builder, giving it the once-over by staff, deciding which commission it has to go to, and expediting that planning as much as possible while preserving the community's right and the community's interest to have an opportunity to have a say. Anytime you talk to a builder, they'll tell you that time is money and development certainty is the best thing they're on. But what do we not like as residents? We don't like to see something hurried up and put slapdash in our backyard when we didn't know enough about it. So there has to be a sense of fairness, there has to be a sense of balance, and sometimes those good things